Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Shaheen.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan for the opportunity, Azhar.
All right, so the National General Council, what does it entail and how important is this in the annual strategy of the South?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I think, a very important strategy and a very important process in itself. Twice a year, SAHUC holds a National General Council meeting, and this is basically a meeting of all the National General Council members from around the country, Western Cape, KZN, and Gauteng. And the National General Council is by and large the council that puts forward any policy changes or directs any change in terms of the direction that SAHUC is going to go into. So every year the board of SAHUC basically on a semi-annual basis would come and present its activities to the National General Council and explain some of the things that had gone on during the year, some of the issues that we may have found from a perspective of COVID-19, for example, this year, and also from any detraction that we may have from the outside. And we try and find a way to smooth this over and to do what is necessary in order not to have any hurdles or any speed bumps in the road. Also, what we do is we put forward our plans for the following year from a perspective of Hajj and how that will basically impact on the pilgrims and how that would impact on the processes of administration and regulation for Hajj in the ensuing year. So this goes on, twice a year, and like I say, if there are any policy changes, it is at this meeting that policy changes will take place, inshallah.
Mhm. And who, as you said, the participants, who will be allowed to gather there?
So
Is
the
it open to the
members,
public or just members of the organization?
the members of SAHUC are basically who we are responsible to report back to, and those are your, civil society members and other members that are basically bona fide members of SAHUC. Insofar as the public is concerned, public is allowed as observers at our AGM, which happens simultaneously on the same day. But that, happens later in the day, and public, according to our constitution, have, to make a written request to attend the AGM of SAHUC as observers in this particular regard.
All right, excellent stuff. Now, when is it all taking place?
Inshallah, it will take place this Saturday, and as a result of COVID-19 this year, instead of meeting at one place, which would have been up here in Gauteng, participants will basically be meeting in the three different centers in Cape Town, Durban, and Johannesburg, and we'll have a live, video link or tele-link between us, so that we can conduct the meeting accordingly, via the necessary processes that have been put into place.
Usually, there's a number of challenges that South faces on a practical level as the Hajj unfolds and people go for the Hajj. Some are happy, some are not happy, some will write complaints, some will praise the organization. This year, there has been no Hajj. What has been the differences in terms of your operations and some of the issues that have cropped up, and how have you overcome them?
Well, I think the most important factor is that, a lot of people feel that they are entitled to perform Hajj. And everybody should be entitled to perform Hajj at least once in our lifetime. The other factor that one needs to look at is where people have never performed Hajj before in their lives, those are the people that must be given the first preference. And because of the scarcity of quota, we have to work on a certain, method or mechanism that is going to be allowing that. And date and time priority is certainly the best mechanism that one can find in order to show transparency, in order to show, the integrity of process in this particular structure. Once you start, bringing in permutations for any changes, then that in itself becomes a big challenge. And I think from a public perspective point of view, that is the one thing that our public has still not bedded down in its entirety. We still believe that a lot of repeat pilgrims want to go over and over again, and nothing wrong with that want, and that desire. But I think we should also want for our brothers and sisters what we have had the taste of ourselves. And as a result of that, I think it only be fair that people who are going to perform a farad must always take precedence over those people who are going to be performing a nafil ibadah. As a result of which, those are the challenges. This year's challenge was very, very difficult and very different in the sense that obviously COVID-19 has put, our plans into, into a little bit of a holding pattern. And what we would have envisaged, to have had at least 3,500 people out in the kingdom this year, puts them into the queue according to the date and time priority. Now, some people may feel aggrieved and say that, those who were accredited needs to be accredited again next year. First things first, we don't know what the COVID-19 situation is going to be post-Hajj. And the Saudi ministry has not yet given an indication as to what the rules are going to be for that. In addition to which, we don't know if the quota is going to be reduced, as a result of their precautionary measures that they may put into place. So you can't have 3,500 people accredited or, transferred forward and find that you're only going to tell 1,000 or 2,000 people that you may go. Therefore, everybody goes into the queue according to the date and time of priority. And, they will wait their accreditation and let it unfold according to the process. In addition to that, if you as Azerbaijani, as an applicant in 2012, and you would have been accredited this year, just as a hypothetical scenario, you for whatever reasons, family commitment, work commitment, whatever reasons or illness, could not go. So you defer your accreditation to the following year. You are earlier in the queue. Why is it then that a 2015 applicant must get preference over you being a 2012 applicant? So then the date and time priority will become distorted. So those are the challenges that we explain to pilgrims. We basically deal with pilgrims on a one-on-one when they write to us or when they communicate with us. On the public platforms such as we're doing now, we also communicate so that people can become more aware of the process, and we refer all the pilgrims or applicants to the terms of application, to the rules in our system, in order for them to become acquainted with it, which will grant a lot more ease in this particular process. Second scenario in terms of this year is the refund process. Alhamdulillah, the refunding of accreditation fees is almost done. We're still waiting for some pilgrims to basically provide us with banking details so that we can return that fund. But the difficulty that we're finding is that Hajj operators have paid most of their pilgrims at least 50% of their money. Those operators that have paid deposits in the kingdom are still waiting for those monies to come back. And as a result of that, it is taking a little bit of time. We applaud the pilgrims who exercise in patience, and we know, inshallah, that monies are safe, but it is just going to take some time before all the monies are repatriated. We would have liked this to be finished within a month or two, but unfortunately it's not to be, as a result of, the wheels turning a little bit slower in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We have also, asked our government through the Department of International Relations, as well as the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia through the Ministry of Hajj, as the sub-affiliate of the Muassasa, to assist in trying to expedite the repatriation of these funds. And inshallah, we are hopeful that it will be done sooner rather than later.
Shaheen Essop, President of the South African Hajj and Umrah Council, Jazakallah khairan for joining us on Salam Media and Al Insaf.
Jazakallah khairan for the opportunity. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Osman's Taj Mahal Spice and Rice. For over 80 years, Osman's Taj Mahal have been perfecting the art of the perfect blend of spices, pure, aromatic, and well seasoned.